about 1 minute left. What's going on? What's going on, man? Y'all welcome in. This Rob the Man Media with Coach Dre and my man Common Sense Buffs on a Tuesday night, man. You know, we've been missing for a couple of weeks, been dealing and dallying, getting ready for football season on my end. And Common, you know, we have some things. First off, before we get started, man, I want everybody to put a heart prayers up for my boy Rob the Man right now. He's dealing with some difficult circumstances when it comes to his mom. It's life and death right now, and you know, we want to send prayers his way. That's why you haven't seen him. He gave me permission to talk about it a little bit tonight on air. So I just want to tell everybody to, man, when y'all say your prayers tonight, say a prayer for my guy Rob and his family and his mom. Like I say, me and bro kind of bonded over that when we first started this. We both had moms that were sick, and we were dealing with that. And so I can only imagine what that feels like. I can only imagine what he's going through. And so I want everyone to send prayers his way. Me and Common are going to try to hold it down for the night and get through this. And, you know, try to bring some, like I told you, I'm always trying to be a blessing to somebody. That's why we come on here. I don't come on here for no likes. I don't come on here for no subscription. I come on here just to talk football and to try to be a blessing to somebody every time I touch these airways and try to promote positivity. There's enough negativity in the world. So when you in here and Rob the Man Media, you know you're going to get some positivity. You know you're going to get some great info on the Buffs. It might not be what you want to hear, but it might be what you need to hear. Common, bro, how you feeling and how you doing, man? Common, you on mute.
My bad, Coach Dre. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Coach Dre. Always a pleasure to be on here with you. I know we've been off for a couple of weeks, so it's good to be back. But then when you get back, and I heard the news about Rob, which he shared with me today, you know, it just reminds you, man, that life is precious. And, you know, everybody has to go through certain seasons in their life. Like you said, you guys bonded when you first met over having mothers who were going through illness. And unfortunately, I lost my mother suddenly in 2019. So when he told me, you know, all those memories come flashing back about my experience losing my mother. So, you know, if anybody's ever been through that experience, you know how hard it is. And I know nobody looks forward to that experience, even though, you know, at some point it could come true for any of us at any time. So just praying for Rob, man, that he holds his head up. You know, he's going to have a lot to carry. But just know that this whole community is going to be there to carry it with you, brother. So if you're watching, just to keep your mind distracted, we're going to hold you down and do you proud, man. But keep your head up and do what you got to do.
That was very well said. I mean, like I told him, that's my brother from another. I can only imagine what this feels like. And so, bro, keep your head up. You know we here. We got you. Whatever you need, you let your brothers know. and we got you and we support you. Before we get started, I'm gonna let Common bring up an image, and then we're gonna talk about it because in the midst of all that tribulation that bro got going on, we got something big coming up next week in Atlanta, and we definitely want to promote it and want people to show up and show out. Uh, with the CU aunties and Duke the Scoop and Rob the Man Media, we will be having Mrs. Travis Hunter's mom, and she'll be there talking about her new book, promoting her new book, and what an honor it is to be with a great woman of God coming out and promoting herself and promoting the image that that we all need to portray. And I'm so happy to be involved with that. Also with my other brother from another Dukes the Scoop and Rob the Man Media. So in the CU aunties, are fabulous women who support these young men unconditionally. And I do mean unconditionally. They love on these young men. They show up, and when they show up, they normally show out. And they're all over the national airways and stuff. So y'all come out and support this and support her new book. And it'll be again with Dukes the Scoop and Rob the Man. And it might be a surprise. Coach Dre might be in the building. So this gonna be big for us. And I'm just glad that again, like I told you, hard work pays off. We not trying, we just some nobodies trying to bless somebody. And so to be able to be a blessing like with this great woman of God and with Dukes the Scoop, you can't ask for anything else. Go ahead, Common.
Yeah, man, look at the title. Shattered but not broken. I mean, apt for what our brother's going through and what some of you guys are sharing in the chat. That's what life is about. You're going to have moments they're going to feel like they're going to shatter you. But the key here, and I think probably the central theme of this book based on the title, is that you can't let life break you. Right. So if you want that inspiration, man, you want to tap in with these brothers. You see how much work they're putting in. You see how much of a community that they're building. You know, I love about the CU aunties is so organic, right? They believe in the mission too. And they've taken the mission that Coach Prime has for these players for them to be successful on and off the field. And they're doing anything that they can to support them. So if you're going to be in the Atlanta area, like Coach Dre said, you never know. He might pull up. I mean, he is on the flyer, y'all. So Coach Dre might pull up. Definitely Rob the Man, you know, given the circumstances and all of that. We pray that despite what might be going on, that he'll still be able to make it and be there and be a part of this, because this is going to be big, guys. It's Coach Prime's homecoming in Atlanta, Georgia, to CU aunties. You're going to have opportunities to meet with Duke the Scoop and Miss Ferrante Edmonds, mother of 5, one of them being Travis Hunter, superstar, Heisman winner, two-way player, extraordinary guy who I'm looking forward to watch in 2026 as well. So, Coach Dre, man, I wish I could make it to Atlanta because I know it's going to be a good time. What Rob said was, if you guys need details, I know on the flyer it doesn't say where the location is, go ahead and DM them, both Rob the Man Media on Twitter and on Instagram, or the CU Aunties on Twitter or Instagram. So DM them if you want to link up. Time and location will be available there. So, Coach Dre, anything more you want to add here?
No, bro. I just, like I say, just show up and support. Like I say, the CU aunties, Duke the Scoop, Rob the Man Media. Like I say, just might. We got a big game that week, but if Coach Dre can figure it out, and him and his family, him and his and my wife can figure this out, might just be in the building. So we gonna see. But man, I want you to come out and support that cause, because like she said, shattered but not broken. And that's the story. That's a lot of people's life story. They've been through it. And I tell you all the time, everybody likes a rainbow. Everybody loves to see a rainbow. That's what you see people post that, oh, I found the rainbow. But before that rainbow, it had to be some rain. It had to be some rain. And it could have been a sprinkle. It could have just been a little while. Or it could have been a tornado. It could have been a tropical storm. It could have been a hurricane. But it was a storm that came through. And like I tell you, anytime we down here in Florida in this hurricane season, after a hurricane, the next day, I guarantee you will think it's the most beautiful day in the world. And you'll never know that it was a storm that came through here. So come out and support that book, and just hear her story. And when you hear her story, I think you'll be blessed. But just come out and support, and that's what we'll do. But moving forward, hey, man, we've been getting it in. We've been getting it in at practice. We got a lot to talk about, and I guess we'll start over there on the defense. Tell me what you see over there, and some of your surprises that have caught your eye here in fall camp so far.
Yeah, so a lot of good things happening on the defense. I think one of the things I was looking forward to when the hire was made to make Dante Carter the defensive line coach was for him to get the trenches right, right? And although one of the big stories we're going to talk about is one of the keys to that trench kind of rebuild in 2026 is not currently available to us, he's still making a lot of strides with the guys on the interior of that Colorado Buffaloes line, which is going to be absolutely critical if we want to go down to Georgia Tech and win that game. And so I think you asked what was one of my surprises is a name that keeps coming up in interviews, and this is from players who, when asked, I think by Scott Proctor of DNVR, who's the guy in the trenches that nobody is talking about, but you think that is going to have a big season. So many people are familiar with Santana Hopper. Unfortunately, Ezra Christensen's situation. And Sam Moo is a name around campus, right? Big personality, big guy. It's hard to miss him, the Quincy Wiggins of the world. But everybody, including Toby and Nene, a guy I really like on that defensive end, mentioned a guy named Tyler Moore. They keep calling him, his nickname is the Get Off King, but that was one of the surprises. This is a guy that I never even talked to. I probably had him on the 3 deep on my depth chart, and you have other guys raving about his play through the summer and into the fall. So watch out for Tyler Moore. If you haven't heard that name, watch out for that name. I think he's been one of the stars of fall camp.
Yeah, he's been a name that you heard about. Again, man, the energy that they're bringing on the defense is the biggest thing that I've noticed. And the guys that's supposed to be the guys, they're the guys. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You got clear-cut leaders on that defense. You got clear-cut ballers. And if it don't start with Boo, I don't know what to do. Boo Carter is exactly what I told y'all he was. The real deal. No ifs, ands, and ain't no pump fake. He bring it every day. He show y'all why who people thought he was and why everybody in the country wanted him coming out of high school. It wasn't a college around that didn't want Boo Carter. Creed Thomas is showing you why Coach Prime said this kid was DB1. And any young football player that's out there right now, when your coach is sitting here telling you to take mental reps when you're at practice, if you don't believe anything, go watch Creed Thomas. Go watch him. Because those 2 guys that were in front of him at Notre Dame, they're in the NFL. And he brought what he learned and came and got with the best DB to ever play. And he's showing up and showing out. Fontenette is showing you exactly why he was going to probably be all SEC first team. All of that. Fontenette is showing you why he's a guy. Nate Mitchell is showing you that, hey, he is everything that we thought he would be. Right now, I guess the toss-up is who's going to play the nickel. But I like what I seen from Hardy. I like what I seen from Vickers. R.J. Johnson is being very physical. So I wouldn't be mad if you put him back there. And then you got those young guys, Mojo, Braylon Edwards. I think he's gonna be the next CEO of the Headache Gang, and so you and Ashley and Preston Ashley. So you got them young bulls out there. Like I said on the show with Russ the other day, hey, you can't afford to be hurt. You can't afford to be hurt with this kind of depth in that secondary. And then when you get to the linebacker core, I just like all 5 of those guys. And I said all 5 of those guys. When I'm talking about the 3 that you bring in, and then Cotton and Gage Goldberg, and then the other kid that do, so it's 6 of them. I like all 6 of those guys at the linebacker spot. And Cotton looks like he's a grown man. He looks like he's been playing college football for at least 2 seasons already. And again, that's a lot to do with Coach Swayze. And I heard all the naysayers and all the boo birds Oh, Coach Swayze, why did we train? Why did we change this? You see the guys' bodies transformation this season with Coach Swayze, with guys that want to put in the work, that are hungry. And then, hey guys, that defensive line is very hungry. I heard all the boo birds and all the man. Why we hired this young, not proven defensive line coach? He don't know what he got going on. Well, you see, he got these young dogs chomping at the bit, getting it going, and then Coach Helu got those ends chomping at the bit. Like you say, Samu came in here, and all I heard was he was overweight and he wasn't going to be able to move. Again, you got to give Swayze credit. Got that man in the weight room, got him on that diet plan. Now he's done got down a little bit. He's moving quick. He's getting off the ball. Santana Harper is what people say he is. And you see why he's a preseason All-American. It's not no hype. It ain't no hype. The kid can really play the game of football. And I like what I see from Quincy Wiggins and those guys. I guess while we talking about that, I guess everyone has heard that Israel did not win his appeal. So as of right now, he will not be on the University of Colorado's football team. I have my own opinions about that. And my mama said, if you don't have nothing good to say, maybe you shouldn't say it at all. So since I don't have anything good to say on the matter, I'll let Common handle.
Hey man, you can share your feelings, man. You know, you can express yourself. But I think when I was listening to a radio show, so I always like to give credit where credit is due. But somebody was saying about the Cleveland Browns' decision to start Deshaun Watson over Shedeur, that they were, what did he say? I wasn't surprised, but I was still shocked. I think I could use that same line and apply it to the Ezra Christensen situation, right? I'm not surprised, but I'm still shocked, and probably not surprised for the reasons that Coach Dre may not necessarily want to say. Now, I could speculate, but I don't have, I haven't dug into the case file and why they made the decision. Is it purely a technicality? I don't have all of that data, right? What I know and what I can speak on is that guy was brought here to play a role. And because this team no longer has him, or at least at this point, we can't say that they do, you can't say that it doesn't hurt. I mean, this is a highly recruited, highly coveted recruit that Colorado scored in the transfer portal. I mean, it's a loss. Right. This is a guy that many bigger schools went after. And I was watching another podcast, and I think there was made mention of what his NIL package is. He was certainly, if those numbers that are floating around true, somebody who commanded some real NIL in the portal. So this was a guy that they actually wanted on this defense. Right. So outside of the reasons why and all of that, it is a loss. Question is, do they have enough depth now to replace that loss? And it's going to require the guys who are still in that room to step up, probably play above what was expected of them at least this year. What do you think, Coach Dre?
No doubt. But again, I think we were preparing as if we weren't going to have him. I think the ruling probably caught some people by surprise. Again, I don't want to voice the opinion because people know why I think it didn't happen, and it has nothing to do with the young man that had the appeal. It had a lot to do with the man who wears the head coaching headsets at University of Colorado. And again, when you look around, and every other day I saw this guy win his appeal, and this kid get an appeal, and this kid gonna get to play, and I'm just sitting here like, okay, I know my guy gonna get to play because everybody else getting to play. And then it's just, to me, guys, it's just funny how when it gets to Israel and a Colorado player, all of a sudden he can't play. But y'all remember they did that to Coach Brown with Tyler Brown. Everybody got to play. Everybody got a waiver. Everybody got this, and this. But when it was Tyler Brown, no, you can't play. So that's nor here nor there. I think that coach was getting prepared for that. Also, I've been hearing that it's a possibility that some guys could come back. I don't know how true it is, so I won't elaborate on it. But I just know that that's been floating around in the news about some of the guys maybe coming back to help. But I think we're steady. I think that all it did was make Coach Marv kind of dig in his book a little bit. And like you say, some of the guys, it's next man up. That's always the motto. That's always the motto. That's any coach motto. You get what I'm saying? We lost Travis Hunter. We had to say, hey man, next man up. We got to go find somebody else to play. Is I know it's not it's impossible to try to replace a Travis Hunter, but you got to keep going out there and playing. And the biggest thing is right now we're not in the season. They didn't go through fall camp with him and things of that nature, so they've already, guys already have gotten used to him not being there. I know though someone asked one of the linebackers today the question, and he said he really hurt for Israel because of the hard work, and he knew that kid really wants to play and he wanted to really be a part of this team. Coach Prime and his coaching staff is building something special at the University of Colorado, and if you can't see it, then I don't know what to tell you. And I can't, and I'm not going to try to. I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm not going to try to sell you a bunch of dreams. I just want you to continue to watch what these young men have going on. So with that being said, we'll move to the offensive side of the ball, Common, and tell me what you see over there on the offensive side of the ball and the guys that have surprised you in this fall camp as we went through fall camp.
Come on, Coach Dre. You know I love defense, man. We gonna get to the offense, man. Everybody gonna get to the excitement, but we gotta talk about this defense a little bit more, man. So I want to give the people a little bit of inside information. You know, we talking about the trenches. One of the biggest problems that we had in 2025, because we know we got the linebacking core. So the guys up front are going to be absolutely necessary because we are really not going to see what we have on the edges unless we can stop the run. So I want to give you guys a little bit of an Easter egg here about this coaching staff. Now, you know, Coach Prime talks about his coaching staff all the time, right? And I think the names that most people are familiar with are Marion and Marv. When you dig into this coaching tree here, and you remember when Coach Prime came to Colorado at first, it was mainly NFL guys. There's been a flip now where a lot of the guys coaching on this staff are guys who spent their time coaching college football and they have real results. Real results. I'm gonna introduce you guys to one of them here. Coach Dre, you mind if I get into the details, sir?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Okay, I'm a cook for a little bit, okay? So I want to introduce the Colorado Buffalo fans to see if it'll pull up here. Defensive analyst and defensive line coach Kenny Ingram. Coach Dre, you familiar with Kenny Ingram?
I am.
Okay, so guys, I want to read something to you real quick so you could get familiar about why I think what we're seeing in fall camp with guys like Santana Hopper, guys like Dylan Manuel, who's another guy who took a big jump, in my opinion, over the summer and into the fall and is playing his best football. Guys like Tyler Moore, guys like Sam Moo, Quincy Wiggins, who Coach Dante Carter referred to as his X factor on the line. I want to tell you about Coach Kenny Ingram and the role I expect he's going to play in really developing our trenches on this defensive line. All right. So Kenny Ingram joined the Colorado Buffaloes football staff in 2026 as a defensive analyst working the defensive line. Ingram came to Boulder after 4 seasons at UCF. All right. He coached at UCF, a team that we're going to have to see late in the season, coached by Scott Frost right now. It's a team that's actually ranked higher than Colorado in the current polling in terms of where they're going to finish in the Big 12. He coached the Knights defensive ends under Coach Gus Malzahn. Now, somebody check me on my date information if I'm wrong, but this is what Coach Prime talks about all the time about relationships. Did Brennan Marion coach or play for Coach Malzahn? Somebody check me, let me know in the chat, okay? During his time in Orlando, Ingram developed several of the program's most productive defensive linemen and helped guide UCF through the transition into the Big 12. In 2023, Ingram coached two of the Big 12's top defensive ends in Tremont Morris-Brash and Malachi Lawrence, both of whom earned all-conference recognition. Okay, so we got a coach on this defensive staff. You're not going to hear his name. He's actually a defensive analyst, but he's assisting Dante Carter with the defensive line. This is this man's resume. Morris-Brash was first team all Big 12 selection after leading the conference and ranking 5th nationally with 18.5 tackles for loss. 18.5 tackles for loss, the 5th best tackle for loss numbers in the 2023 season, while adding 8.5 sacks from the defensive end, second most in the Big 12 that year. Lawrence, the other guy, the other end, finished with 7.5 sacks, 4th in the Big 12. Okay, so that's a little Easter egg guy for you guys. You know, when you're having conversations and people are arguing certain points, you know, this just gives you a little bit more ammunition, and it should give you a little bit more confidence that these guys are really getting developed by this coaching staff, and we should be well positioned to stop the run and get to the quarterback. So, Coach Dre, I mean, if you're with me, we could talk offense now, but I just wanted, again, to give the people a little bit of inside information as I do my research and learn more about this team.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm always with the research. That's why you here, because, you know, we want to hear the research and hear about this great coaching staff. Again, that was the worst thing they could have ever did, was to let it be unlimited, because, guys, you have to understand that coaches, for a while, coaches you could only have 10. You could have assistants and things of that nature, but you could only have 10 guys that were actually, you know, considered coaches. And so when they let you get to the number where you could be unlimited and you could have as many coaches as you could pay, that set Coach Prime up. And again, like you say, and that's why when people tell me Coach Prime hasn't learned anything, he didn't change anything, he did, guys. He changed his whole model of coaching, his whole model. Yes, these guys that he got on his coaching staff, most of them played in the NFL. That's great. But the coaching pedigree that he had before was mostly NFL players. And Coach Prime told you that that was the model he liked. He liked the pro coaching style. But I think he realized he had to go get some guys that were in that college game that had more connections, because college football is about who you know. It's about who you know. And so I think Coach Prime went out and got some go-getters. And then again, when you made the switch from Coach Marv, from when Coach Livingston left to go to Denver, for him to allow Coach Marv to go out and bring some of his guys in to be comfortable. But that's the biggest thing, guys. And that's why I believe we're a different football team, because this is a tight-knit coaching staff. This group, the way that these guys have bonded, the guys that Coach Marv brought in with the defensive staff that Coach already had, I don't really think Coach got rid of anybody. I just think he just let Coach Marv bring in some guys to help in those analyst roles and things of that nature. So, again, having more than one set of eyes in a room helps. Believe you me, it helps, guys, because I think that's why you see the great maturation when we're going to get to the offense of the offensive line, is because we got 3 eyes in that room and you got 3 bodies there. And so if I can't get you one-on-one, maybe this coach can, and this coach can. So you love to see what Coach Prime has put out. And like you say, I don't want to hear that Coach Prime didn't make any changes or didn't do anything different, because he did. And you can tell with his coaching staff. Like you say, I'm pleased. You bring in Vaughn. Again, you bring in another DB coach, and that's because all of the Boo Birds, all you Fairweather fans, you just hiring your homeboys, and you just hiring your friends, and this, that, and the third. Guys, I'm here to tell you, as long as Deion Sanders has a job, and unless these guys get elevated, Coach Hart and Coach Mathis, will be coaching with Coach Deion Sanders. And you know why? Because when it was just Deion Sanders' money getting put in to this, those guys were standing beside him. When he started his true youth league, when they got to high school, and again, guys, Coach Hart has 3 state championships. He was the head coach when Shador was in high school. He was his head coach. Andre Hart was the head coach. Deion Sanders was the offensive coordinator. And so these guys will always, but for guys to step aside and know what's best for their friend. That's what I told you. A lot of y'all walking around here with associates and not real friends. And Coach Fry knows he has real friends in Hart and Mathis, and they're gonna always be there. So I'm pleased with what I see from all the coaches, the energy, the running around, the back and forth with the coaches, offensive and defensively. I like that, and that's what turns practice up and builds chemistry. So I like what I see definitely on the defense. But again, let's get to this offense and talk about the surprises and the guys that have shocked you coming out of this fall camp as we get ready to get into game week next week. Tell me what you like and what you dislike, or what you like to say the guys that surprised you on offense.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into offense real quick, but let's acknowledge some of our people in the chat real quick. Coach Dre, they holding us down right now. Mrs. Jennifer L, No Notes FB, Trust 52, Ken Hat, is it Danny 007? Okay, James Bond, ICH Inc. Good to see you. A lot of people up in here is getting real active in the chat. Please put your questions, comments, everything in the chat, things that you want us to address. Hot takes that you have. If you agree or disagree, let us know in the comments. All right. We appreciate you guys being here. You can be anywhere on a Tuesday night, but you're here with Rob the Man Media, Coach Dre, and Common Sense. All right. So, surprises. The how big of a leap Chauncey Gooden took from his freshman season to his sophomore season. That's probably the biggest surprise, because the way they are talking about Chauncey Gooden is like he's going to cause real problems in the Big 12, right? And he's going to be a critical component of this go-go rushing attack. Coming out of high school, I think he was a 4-star. I think Chauncey Gooden is out of Tennessee, highly recruited guy. But I think he's a guy that these coaches have had their hands on since he was like a little kid, right? Because he's always had that in him. And what appears to have happened is that he got in shape because he had a similar narrative, not narrative per se like Samu, but he's a bigger guy. And so you could tell when he came in as a freshman during that conditioning period, he had a ways to go. And what it seems like is between the end of last season and this fall camp, Chauncey Gooden has done what he needed to do in the weight room. He's gotten in better shape, and he's ready to play his best football. And that has been one of the biggest surprises for me watching this player development is Chauncey Gooden. I mean, Gunnar White could fully claim Chauncey Gooden as a product of his development. I mean, he could fully claim it because he got him as a freshman, he coached him up, and he has him starting this year. Whatever, I mean, question marks about Colorado and player development. Whatever Chauncey Gooden puts on tape is evidence of Gunnar White's ability and Coach Gerard and Coach Hageman's ability to develop players.
Yeah, I mean, another thing for people to go hang their hats on, because when they hired Gunnar White, people had the biggest, oh my God, how can we go get a solidified offensive line coach? Why are we because Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, knows what he's doing. Gunnar White is a great football coach, and Common hit it on the head. For Chauncey to be in that starting lineup already as a true sophomore. When you bring in guys, to play in that position. You bring in guys to play in that position. You had guys that were already there. And I'll be the first to tell you that he was not in my starting lineup when we first talked about it. When Common was on doing his lineup, he was not the guy that was there at that guard spot at all. To see what he has done, and how he has impressed and how he has dominated. Also, at first you got to say how McKinney was looking for him to come in and push Hunter. Again, I think it was more of everybody, even myself. I had one person pinned in to start for the University of Colorado, excuse me, on the offensive line, and that was Hunter. That was Hunter. I had him pinned in, and there was no question about it. And I think that people heard, and I think that was the narrative across the board, that if it was anybody that was going to start, it was going to be a Hunter from who had just transferred in, and all the other spots were open. Well, when we got to fall camp for about a week or so, that was not the case. McKinney was the guy out with the first team from what we saw, and we could be wrong, but that's what we saw. But then in these latter weeks, I think again that was a challenge to Hunter to say, "Hey, you're gonna have to come take this. You're gonna have to come take it. We just ain't gonna give it to you." For Chauncey to beat out a guy like Yaya, Soto, Big Larry Johnson, that says a lot for what we'll see. I think what we'll see coming out is Big Bo Hughley, who again, that's it, guys. When we signed that kid, I said he's our next left tackle. As soon as Jordan Seaton left, I was like, we're okay. We got Big Bo. So Bo at left tackle. I forget who's been that other guard. Hunter at center. Chauncey at the other guard, and I think it's been Bale or White at the other tackle. And so, guys, and coach, and I told you, it's 10 guys that if you told me any of those guys were starting, I'd have no problem with. And so I'm happy that means we got quality backup, and that's what you need. And again, if you just listen to Coach Prime, Coach Prime even said he wouldn't be mad if you rotated these guys because of the simple fact of he had so much confidence in the way these young men looked up front. So you got to tip your hat to Coach Gunnar White, Coach Dre, and Coach Hagelman and what they've done developing these young men. And I think we're going to be better for it because I think we're going to be a lot more physical and be able to run the ball. So we've already talked about the offensive line. So let's talk about the running backs. Common, what you see out of that backfield and what impressed you in the running back room.
Yeah, for sure. Two things before I get to the running back room. Number one, I agree with you. I also have Hunter. But now Sean Kinney feels like over fall camp, he's kind of walked him down. And I think is a true 2-horse race. I just want to see who's going to come out on top. I wouldn't be surprised. It could go either way. I still like Demetrius Hunter because of the Power 4 experience, especially in the big game with the big lights and the big crowd and loud. You had to have that experience playing at that level. But I think he walked him down rep by rep, man. And, when Colorado says that the best guy's going to play, for all intents and purposes, that's an example right there with Sean Kinney and Demetrius Hunter. It doesn't matter who was penciled in to be the starter, at least at the beginning. The competition was on and Sean Kinney was doing this thing. So that bodes well for us. I know we're a little bit thin at that spot, but I think we talked about this before. Yaya Atia can kick down, maybe give them some additional relief at center. And then somebody mentioned that Sean Kinney has the versatility to play guard as well. So it is not out of the question that we might see both Hunter and Kinney on the field at the same time. All right, running back room. And then shout out to Gunnar White because he's got another player that he could claim development for, and that's Xavier Payne. another guy who's playing really, really well, true freshman at that left tackle spot. So that's another development project right there that's working out very, very well for Hageman, Gerard, and Gunnar White. All right, running backs. I am a huge DeKalen Taylor fan. I think the guy who he reminds me of when I went back and watched some Brennan Marion tape was the shifty slot receiver that he would bring regularly in the backfield at UNLV. I think his name was De Jesus. And the way they used him is similar to what I think they're going to use, how they're going to use DeKalen Taylor. I think he's typically going to be the pitch man when they're running that triple option, trying to get him the ball out in space and make him make people miss. But he also has the ability to run off the tackle. So he's going to keep those those defensive honest, right? You're going to always be thinking swing pass, outside run with DeKalen Taylor, but they'll hand the ball to him up the gut, which they did with De Jesus as well. So he's a guy that you have to play really, really honest with. He could burn you to the outside because he has the speed and explosiveness, but he can also run in between the tackles. You could have DeKalen Taylor run in between the tackles on first down, right? So that's the versatility that a guy like that gives in that running back room to be able to do both. And then, of course, Damian Henderson is going to be my power back. I think between the two of them, I have both of those guys as my carries leaders for 2026, followed by Michael Welsh. We're going to see Richard Young as well, but that's my order right there. DeKalen Taylor, Damian Henderson, Michael Welsh is the top 3 ball carriers for Colorado.
Can't argue with that, except for Quanell, the kid. Thing I can't forget his name. So again, when I was talking with Russ 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how, when Richard first got here, that was, when we signed Richard Young, and I knew what Richard Young was capable of doing. I thought he was going to come in and be the guy. I'm not going to sit here and tell nobody no lies. That's what I thought. Right now, he's not even in my 4D, even though he's creeping himself back in because he had a great week this week. After we talked about him a little bit last week with Russ, the next week when I turned on the film, he was running that thing hard, looking like the guy from Bama that I'm expecting to see. But I'm with you, Trackhawk, Henderson, Michael Welch, and I have right now. I'm going to be honest with you. Michael Welch might be my guy. I'm just going to be straightforward and honest with you. Michael Welch might be my guy, with Taylor and Henderson, and then the other kid I can't think of his name. He wears 23.
Jacquel Smith.
Those are my 4 guys, because I know he in that go-go they like that 2-back set every now and then. So I figure we're gonna have 4 guys, and I think whoever got the hot hand, I think that's what Coach Matt gonna use. And again, Coach said we're not earning a position, we're earning reps. So he said he doesn't have a pecking order. It's about how good you play. It's about how many reps you're gonna get. So it's not about who's first, second, or third. It's by reps. So but that's what I got right now. Like I said, Michael Welch was my surprise, and I think Michael heard all the ramblings of everybody else and not about him. And I think he took this offseason personal. He looked like he looked when he was a freshman. When I first looked at him, when he first got to Colorado, and he was sitting there with that serious look on his face, like, "Hey, ain't nobody in this room better than me." And I think that's the way he came out and played in this fall camp. And like I say, right now, if you really press me about who I'm taking to be the first guy to step out on that football field against Georgia Tech, I'll be hard pressed not to say 29. I don't want to leave Hicks out. I think Hicks 27 had a great camp. Every time I turned on the film, I liked what I saw from him. And so I think we were all in agreement with what we saw in the running back room. So moving on from the running back room, we'll go to the wide receiver room, Common, and we loaded. Let's just call it what it is. We loaded, and we'll go ahead and hear what you got to say and what was your surprises and the first thing I'm gonna say before you go is I have no problem saying that you were right, but I told you they were gonna have to go out there and earn it in DeAndre and JoJo. You see, coach didn't just give them the first reps, the 1 reps. They had to go out there and earn the 1 reps. And so I'm the first to tell you, you were right when it comes to those guys, because those guys should be the guys when it comes to Colorado receivers. But go ahead and tell us what you think.
Yeah, man. So good problems in the backfield, man. I feel like that's like the Wu-Tang Clan, right? You got 9 members, so many different styles. So many different styles, right? You got Damian Henderson, who's gonna make you eat nothing but high knees, but he's very, very explosive. He's like deceptively explosive. He'll hit a home run. Then you got Michael Welch, the bowling ball, that's just gonna, defenders are they're not gonna want to tackle him all game. And then you got the explosive play of Kalen Taylor. But another guy to watch out for too is Bryce Higgs. When you were saying you got to earn your reps and reps are not just given, that's a guy who all camp has earned his reps. And every time he gets a chance, it seems like he's making a play. So, and then you got the freshman, Cam Newton, right? Really, really young. It is not out of this world where 5 or 6 of these guys gets touches this year. Right. And I really, really love that about that running back room. All right. So wide receivers. The guy I really like is Quanell Farrakhan. Okay. You got all these other guys, I think, that get mentioned first. And you always have Quanell there. And like, he's that guy, you be like, but Quanell is real good though. You see what I'm saying? Like, you'll have your starters, but then you like, we just got to get him on the field. He's going to be in my opinion, spectacular catch wide receiver, because this man catches everything. You know how like wide receivers, they talk about route running right now. They talk about, jump ball skills, 50-50 ball skills. They talk about ability to block, right? All of these things, right? But the art of being a wide receiver is hands. You can do all that other stuff. You ain't got no hands. You ain't a wide receiver. And Quanell is my guy that I really, really love in that wide receiver room. And I do want to see him get some real burn this year. I think he's going to make some plays that are going to make a lot of people replay that catch multiple times. He's already done it in camp. He's been doing it since the spring. So I'm excited about Quanell, man.
I mean, you have to be excited when you got guys like that. And you're talking about this kid could be 4th or 5th on the depth chart. 5th or 6th on the depth chart. When I heard someone, and this was when he was hurt, and when I heard someone say that DeAndre Moore is probably the biggest leader on the football team, I knew this kid was taking no reps in the spring. I said this kid just might be special. Also, listening to Coach Marion talk about him and talk about how bad he wanted to coach him because he knew what he could do with his offense. JoJo coming back off of this injury looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's catching everything, and he's willing to go up against the best. Bring Boo out here. Bring Creed Thomas out here. I want to go out here and go against the best. I think with these injuries to Danny and Cam Perry, I think that Q for 6 has shown, it's going to be hard pressed. I want this spot. I want to be on the field. I want to do something special. And he has shown it. The Ward brothers have not disappointed. I thought they were going to send the other Ward brother back to DB, but I guess he said that room looked a little crowded over there. I better stay over here at receiver. And both of those guys, those Ward brothers, have been very impressive. But the most consistent guy for me is Caleb Mathis. Every time you turn on the football film, team is catching the football and he's blocking. He's doing everything that you want him to do. Some of the best routes that we have out there. And so With that being said, this room is loaded. And again, we haven't even talked about Danny Scudero or Cam Perry, and they are on the Biletnikoff watch list. You understand me? We talking about guys, and that's scary for defenses, because I believe that Coach
I don't know if y'all lost Coach Dre. I just lost Coach Dre. If you lost Coach Dre in the chat, let me know. I'll pick it up until I see him on my screen. So I'm not sure if it's my internet or if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing with Coach Dre. But let me take some of your comments while Coach Dre gets back in the room. It says the wide receiver room. This is Danny. The wide receiver room is all dangerous people. Watch out for them guys. Yeah, everybody's dangerous. Blake Gupton says Brendan Marion is going to run the ball and going to pass the ball. That might sound stupid, but plain and simply, we moving the ball. Oh yeah. His offense is versatile enough to run the ball and pass the ball, and he has the weapons to do it. But I think the base expectation of a go-go offense is that you're going to run the ball. Right. And he's going to find creative ways to run the ball, creative formations to run the ball out of, because it is predicated on explosive plays. All right. And they're trying to find ways to make the defense, play unsound or try to guess out there or fool their eyes or whatever the case may be, looking for the explosive plays. But at the base, which I am looking forward to, is a Colorado with a real rushing attack. Can we put 1,000-yard back out there, Coach Dre? I know we're talking about the wide receivers. We lost you for a minute, but are we going to put 1,000-yard back out there? What do you think?
I think combined, I don't think one guy gonna go for 1,000. I think somebody's gonna go for 800. I got somebody going for 800. I don't think one guy's gonna get to 1,000. I think that somebody's going. I think all-purpose, the Kalen can get to 1,000 all-purpose yards, but just straight up and down from out the backfield, I think we're gonna hand it off too much. I think I got two guys going for 8 and maybe a guy going for 5. That's what I think. That's what I'm hoping, and that's what I'm thinking about when it comes to the running back. So I like I say, I feel good about the offense because again, Merriman told you this is the best offense I've ever had, and if I've been averaging 35, what that tell you? I should average with these young men, and again, these guys have bought in to the system, and so we come to the last position. And that's the most important position, and that's quarterback. And I think you can go to bed at night. You can call whoever you want to call, but 10 is going to go 10. If you want to win, we're going to put 10 in. And I think he's our guy. But I'm finna shock y'all with who I got at number 2, and it ain't Wilson. It's Sweetwine. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just being straightforward and honest with you. What I have seen from Sweetwine this fall camp, if I was sitting in Coach Prime Deion Sanders' chair, Sweetwine would be my backup quarterback after 10. And that's no knock to Wilson. I think Wilson has had some good practices and put on a good show. But I think Sweetwine has been the guy that has stepped up and took in the reins with that number 2 unit. And if you really look close, he's getting reps with that number 2 unit. So that I think that was my shocker for this live, that I have Sweetwine as my backup quarterback right now, with Juju starting and Wilson being number 3.
Wow, that's a hot take. Chat, let us know if you agree with Coach Dre. If you have Sweetwine as your number 2. So you mean something happens and we got to go to our backup? You putting Sweetwine in there right now?
I believe you might see Sweetwine in some packages.
Wow.
I just think you might. I don't know, but right now, I get what you're thinking. Well, Isaac done played. He's had college reps, all of that good stuff. But the way that Sweet Wine has took control of his offense, I like what I see. His legs makes it scary for him. And his accuracy throwing the ball has got better. And so I just seen leaps and bounds. And just for me, I like what I see from 14. Uh, Again, anytime I mention the quarterback room, I'm gonna always tell you long live Don Ponder, because I miss Guy. They had a memorial service down here for him in Florida, maybe a few weeks back, and touching and to hear that Coach Prime and Shador and all those guys still keep in contact with moms and pops and little sister and keep them in his prayers. But right now, Common, that's what I got coming out of fall camp, getting ready for week 1. Now it could be different.
Wow.
It could be different, and the only reason I think a lot of people would give the nod right now to Isaac is because he's played and he started. But again, I've always looked beyond the hurdle. When Jameis Winston was a true freshman at Florida State, it was there at the spring. We had I had my youth team then, and we took the guys down to see it. And when I left the spring game, one of our coaches, he's a diehard Florida State fan. And I told him, I said, if y'all don't start Jameis Winston, I don't know what y'all are doing. And for that first week, they didn't start Jameis. That next week, they had to start him. And I remember him calling me saying, Dre, how you? I'd say, man, I know he's young and you got somebody here that's already played. But if you've been here and I just got here and again, guys, I was the guy who people beat over the head when I said, if it was me last year, I'd have started Juju and not Salter, because I didn't see a grass jump from Salter to Juju. And when you have played college football like that, you should be able to step away from this young incoming freshman and show that you should be the guy. And again, I don't think Isaac Wilson has done that with Sweet Wine. And so that's that. I'm just telling you my take on my thoughts process on why I got him at number 2. Go ahead, Connie.
Oh no. I'm not automatically gonna dismiss it outright. I mean, the kid has talent, and he's benefiting again. I got to go to coaching staff, right? Of who the quarterback coach is, Haj Malik Williams, one of the support staff. Now, Brennan Marion was the offensive coordinator for UNLV in 2024. His quarterback for part of that season, so it's a very controversial situation at UNLV. The quarterback that started the season was Matthew Sluka. I don't know if you guys remember this situation. But Matthew Sluka had the UNLV Rebels off to a great start, right? And then he just said he wasn't going to play anymore because they didn't pay him the money that they promised him. So that's who Brennan Marion started off with as his quarterback that year. So Sluka transfers out and Haj Malik Williams takes over. If we were thinking about who or how Brennan Marion would call his offense with Sweet Wine, he would call it probably closer to Haj Malik Williams than he probably will with Julian Lewis. And here was the statistics that year. Rushing, Haj Malik Williams, 161 carries for 851 yards. I could see Sweet Wine having the durability, right? He has the size and he has the ability to extend plays to rush the ball for 161 rushes at quarterback for 851 yards. And oh, by the way, I think he had an All-American wide receiver in Ricky White, 79 receptions, 1,041 yards. So I could see Sweet Wine, him having experience calling a game with a player like Sweet Wine. But I got my man Trey in here. Trey 601, man, says, common sense. I'm ready to see y'all lose one more week. So basically you saying you counting down to 9 days when the Colorado Buffaloes take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and you're going to be tuned in the prime time. Man, listen, I might live stream the show. I know Coach Dre and Rob the Man might be down in Atlanta busy. They might have their stream on. I don't know, Coach Dre. When you come back, you might be able to say, but maybe they'll be streaming more like Rob does, where he's streaming from his phone, like, you know, like the Buff Walk stuff. So he might do more of like the informal stuff, since you guys are probably going to be watching the game from the stadium. But I might live stream the game with the audience, because, man, listen, Coach Dre, it seems like some people were waiting for the season to start before they tuned in, because my man Trey 601 says, I'm ready to see y'all lose in one more week, man. So I don't know if you're ready to switch it over to your thoughts on Georgia Tech, or you want to explore more about the team, but maybe the people are ready to hear us look ahead.
Comment, look at that comment again. He ain't say lose, he said lie. He said, unfortunately, yes, y'all been lying. He said, y'all been lying all off season. I've just been being honest, like Future said.
Right. So he said we've been lying about how good the team is, and he's being honest by saying, hey, we have one more week to lose. I got you back, Coach Dre.
Go ahead. What you say now, bro?
No. I couldn't hear you originally, but I was saying he's saying that we've been lying to the people. We've been lying to the people. We've been selling them a bill of goods. Us, Colorado content creators like us, you, me, Rob, been selling the people a bill of goods, and he can't wait to see us lose in 1 week.
Look at my face. You think we care about what you think? This our show, man. Don't come in here with that BS, man. You know what it is, and we ain't gonna never change who we is and what we say. If you don't like it, you ain't gotta show up. But ain't nobody telling you no lies. We telling you what been reported. You can go watch the facts of what we talking about. We ain't just talking just to talk. But we glad that you wasted your time coming in here, because in a minute somebody gonna get you out of here. So go ahead with that, bro. I mean, I'm glad you came in here and got your 5 minutes of fame, but bro, you don't even entertain that mess right there. So I don't think me and Rob ever in comment have ever just came on here and gave y'all some BS. We gave you an opinion. An opinion isn't a fact, and then most of the time, that especially when I'm talking facts, and it's more than one person that'll verify what I'm talking about. So, I mean, I'm glad that you came in here and made your presence felt. But I really like to know what we lied about, since you know so much.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I think the college football made a great decision by making this the first game of the college football season. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Dre. It is the very first game.
What 3-17 get prime time like this? It's about money, guys. Hey, don't lay down and dream this ain't about money. Deion Sanders going back to Atlanta, to the place where he started, where he did his thing. Do y'all think these people just, because this was set for a Friday night game, and I think it was other Friday night games on. So once they seen it, oh no, we want this to push it back to Thursday so that this could be the only thing on. Again, also, it's a win or lose situation, but for me, when we win, now everybody saw what we saw. But what they hoping is, again, like Ali tell you, most of the people that came in here and bought tickets, they came to see me lose. They didn't come to see me win. They came to see the loudmouth get beat. Well, they came to see the loudmouth, the brash Deion Sanders and his guys coming in here. But again, right now, the Georgia Tech people doing all the talking. We just doing the work. But every time you pick up the thing, the Georgia Tech people the ones that's talking. Okay. The Georgia Tech people is the ones doing all the talking. So we just gonna show up and play football and do what we've been doing and you know, standing on purpose so that we can stand on business. But uh, it's a reason for why Colorado's the only game getting played that day. Don't make no
It's gonna be
mistakes about
electric. It's
it.
gonna be electric.
It's a lot of television companies gonna make a lot of money. Gonna be a lot of memorabilia. So a lot of people gonna be in Atlanta. I mean, it is what it is because of who
Hottest
Deion
ticket in
Sanders
Atlanta,
is.
Georgia.
Right, and
Hottest
so
ticket in Atlanta, Georgia.
Magic City gonna sell a lot of wings. All of that is
Oh my
going down
God.
in the city. You know what I'm saying? So, um, this is about money, guys. Don't let it be mistaken because there's no other 3-17 you know getting this kind of treatment. Don't nobody want to see no other 3-17. You know,
Jersey's what? Ooh, the jersey. You know the jersey's gonna be fire.
go the new whatever new shoes Coach Prime got out for his boys to wear. They gonna be having it on. We gonna have that swag on, and the coach is gonna be looking right, and the fans gonna be full of Colorado folks.
We going classic all white because it's a away game. We're going classic all white like the TCU game. I mean, what jersey would you like to see, man? That classic TCU all white is fire.
I do like that all white, and I do believe that's what we'll go with. I think we'll go with the snow, what they call it, the snowman or snow whatever uniform. I think that I hope that's what we're going with. But we might come out with the white, white with gold. I know they got some new wrinkles in that uniform because Coach Prime keep it funky. So I'm just ready to see these guys. And I just know these guys chomping at the bit. You've been hitting on each other for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They just chomping at the bit to hit somebody else with another color jersey on. And so I'm just excited to see these young men get out here and get after it. But like you say, talking about Georgia Tech, I take nothing away from that football team. They got 2 great running backs. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. But just like us, they got a quarterback that's unproven. Their offensive coordinator, guys, he's down here in Gainesville with me. He's the OC at the University of Florida. The quarterback that they thought they were going to have at quarterback, well, he's down here with me in Gainesville, and just got named the starting quarterback for the University of Florida. So they have a lot of questions to answer, just like we got a lot of questions to answer. As much as people want to act like all of a sudden they world beaters, it's a lot of questions to be answered. And what you ask yourself is, if Mendoza was so good and your brother just led Indiana to the national championship, why wouldn't you be the quarterback at the University of Indiana?
Right.
So, but they doing a lot of talking, and that's fine. Be prepared. Just be prepared. I have no problem with them talking. I don't want us to say nothing though. But I have no problem with them talking. They beat us last year. Whoop-de-doo. All of that good stuff. But you're talking. And you better be ready to back it up. And I'll say this before I let Common take over. In the Bible, God wanted to make David king. He didn't just automatically crown him. He sent Goliath. He sent Goliath. He didn't crown him. He sent Goliath. Down here in Florida, the Carroll City coach told people that people buy tickets in the arena, in the back in the olden days in the arena, the gladiator arena, because football is a gladiator sport. People pay to see people get killed. Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing: buy your ticket. We gonna bring our swords and shields. We'll just see what happens.
Oh, it's gonna be a war, all right. And to your point about talking, man, at some point you have to play football, right? At some point We're going to have to put the cleats and the helmets on, and we're going to have to play football. All that talking going to stop. It's only going to be about 9 days. All the speculation going to end. They're going to line up, right? We're going to find out what this go-go about. We're going to find out what this pro-style hybrid offense they're running in Georgia Tech is all about. We're going to find out. We're going to find out if it's going to be a 4-3 or some version of a 4-2-5. That's what we've been waiting for. We've been building on this moment all year. We've been talking about these guys, analyzing things, watching these players grow as a team, as a brotherhood, get better together, go through stuff together. And now we're only 9 days away. So, Coach Dre, I mean, we've been at it for about an hour. Let's give the people our, it's Georgia Tech week, basically. They play next week. I'm sure all the prep is around what they're going to do to start the season off right. What are your keys to victory? What are your keys to victory?
It starts up front. It's going to always.
My fucking shit was in that bag. My cake. They ain't getting out that bag.
We can hear you, Coach.
Go ahead, Common. Give me 1 second.
Okay. All right. So, Danny said, what I got in this jar, man, this is my mason jar, man. All right. I know it looked like some moonshine in it, but how you know that's the jar for moonshine? Then Danny, how you know what goes in this jar? All right. So let's talk about keys to victory. We'll give Coach Dre a couple moments. I appreciate you guys being active in the chat, hanging out with us here on a Tuesday night. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we appreciate you being here. So keys to victory. Number one, Coach Prime said this in his press conference, I think it was today, maybe yesterday, that he is not trying to put any extra pressure on JUJU than what this moment and what this opportunity is probably already putting on him. All they're going to ask him to do against Georgia Tech is not to go out there and be a world beater. Is to go out there and just execute the plays as called. One of the keys to victory against Georgia Tech is for JUJU to execute this offense at a high level. He doesn't have to play hero ball. He doesn't have to go out. He might have to go out and win the game. You don't really have a choice in that. But throughout the game, what Coach Prime and Brennan Marion, I think, are really preparing him to do is just execute the plays as they are called. My understanding of the go-go's, the way the go-go is created for the quarterback is that there is a pre-snap read, and then there is one post-snap read. Running the go-go offense does not have you to kind of read the whole field before the play starts and then go through a whole bunch of progressions before you decide where the ball is going to go. If you guys have noticed in fall camp, one of the things that they try to do is to get the ball out quickly and let their guys make plays in the open field. Okay, you see that ball come out 2 seconds, 3 seconds, because they're not having to go through all of their progression. You're not seeing a lot of 5-step and 7-step drop in this offense. So one of my keys to victory is JUJU Lewis and Brennan Marion working together, calling plays, coming out with a script that is going to allow him to focus on that one pre-snap read, one post-snap read, and make quick decisions and try to create some momentum. So let me go to your comments real quick and see what y'all got to say about that. JUJU Lewis as the guy who needs to execute and not to play hero ball. So TJ Will, I see your comment there. Welcome to the chat. He says CU doesn't need a 4-3 defense. Their 4-2-5 has Fontenette as a hybrid linebacker. Watch USC shut down Haynes. Got to get him before he gets up gets up to full speed. So we got to play on the opposite side of the ball, right? We got to play on their side of the line of scrimmage. That's going to take great linebacker play. It's going to take great interior defensive line play, and it's going to take disciplined edge play, guys on the edges. Oh, Surfer Boy 3000. What's up, my brother? I have not seen you in what, like a year? So football season must almost be here. Great to see you. Bear Burns CU says, I was listening to Brent Key's press conference. Oh, Coach Dre, I see you. Let me know when you're back. And he didn't really pump up Mendoza today. He said he was going to make mistakes because he's never started a college. Yeah, he's also starting his first. This is his first full-time starting job.
Hey, bring that comment back up. Bring that comment back up. I think a guy made a great point that with us having AJ Smith in that box with Brandon Merriman with their eyes and what he has done with that offense, with him calling plays, and also on defense, that I think the guys, I can't pronounce his name, but he's a national champion defensive coordinator who was an analyst. He's the older gentleman. He's going to be up in that box for Coach Marv this year, and I think that's going to help that defense tremendously, because I think that's what helped Livingston his first year was having Coach Helu up in the box, and Coach Helu would be up in the box, and then they would make the adjustments at halftime. If you go back and watch that year at halftime, you would always see Coach Helu down there talking to the guys and making adjustments and telling them what they did wrong. And so I think that you're going to see a lot more of that this year with those two guys up in the box, with those two coordinators down on the football field. Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, you made a very good point, man. And again, this is the exciting thing about this coaching staff. So AJ Smith, I think Coach Prime mentioned him in the press conference today, but he's an offensive mind as well. He's coming off a season in the UFL where I think they had a pretty good season. I think his record in the UFL is like 29-12, something like that. And, you know, they were joking about how good he was as an offensive play caller in the UFL. So you got Brennan Marion down on the field, but you got an AJ Smith up in the booth trying to find weaknesses in this Georgia Tech defense and calling plays that they hope will exploit those weaknesses. But my first key to victory, Coach Dre, that I was talking about is what Coach Prime said about JUJU Lewis not having to play hero ball, but just execute the plays called at a high level. Do you have that down as one of your keys to victory?
Right. I definitely have that down as one of my keys, because of the simple fact is also JUJU's going home. He going to have a lot of people in the stands. He going to have a lot of friends and family in the stands. I want him to be comfortable. And I think I want to come out, get him flowing, get him going, some short passes, and get him in the groove of things, because like you say, you don't want him to get himself caught up in being back home, trying to play hero ball, trying to be the hero. I just want him to play within the offense, which I think Coach Marion would tell him, and just do take what the defense gives you and play smart, hard-nosed football. And I think we'll be just fine. And so, yeah, that's a great key right there, comment, for him not to just play within himself, play within the offense.
Yeah, next key to victory is we got to run the ball and we got to stop the run. Right, we got to run the ball. We got to stop the run. We gotta keep them behind the chains on first and second down and force. Right, just like we don't want to be behind the chains on first and second down, we want to force Georgia Tech into situations where they must throw the ball to avoid, punting it away, or and it gives our secondary and our edge rushers opportunities to get to the quarterback and create turnover. So my second key to victory is that we got to run the ball and we got to stop the run. What are your thoughts on that, Coach Dre?
That's always the keys. I mean, that was my first key before I had stepped away for a minute. It's going to always be up front. Can the big hogs do what they got to do? Can we move people so we can run the ball? Can we disrupt and disrupt at the line of scrimmage with the defensive line? So yeah, we got to be able to stop the run, and we got to be able to run the football. And I think if you do that, you really in a great position, because I don't know what this quarterback can do. Again, he doesn't. There's not a lot of film out on him since probably high school. The only claim to fame for him right now is that he's the quarterback of the national champion. He's the brother of the national championship quarterback in the first round draft pick. But now you're gonna get your feet put to the fire. We're gonna find out if this kid can really play. So yeah, stop the run, uh, be diligent with the ball and ball management, and put yourself in positions to where you got to make this kid throw to what I consider the strength of your defense, and that's your secondary. So that's what you want to do. Get third and longs, so that you can make that quarterback have to go against this top-notch defense and secondary. And I think that's what we're going to try to do.
Yeah, so that's a key, but we got to take that crowd out of the game early. We got to take that Georgia Tech crowd out of this game early. We cannot have them hanging in there.
I think it's going to be 50-50 in there. I don't know how much of a Georgia Tech crowd you're going to have. Them CU people going to be in there. Now, Georgia Tech, if you got any sense, you better not let these Colorado people out go in there and outnumber you, because it'll get bad. But again, you go in there and you put up some points and you get that crowd out of the football game, kind of like what they did when they came down here to Florida when they played UCF that year. Go ahead and take the crowd out of the game so they're not even a factor, period, in the game. Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, you gotta take them out of the game early. The Georgia Tech crowd cannot be a factor. You got an offensive line who has just started playing together. You have a quarterback who is going to be in his first full-time starting opportunity. He's going to be on national TV. They do not need that crowd roaring when they're trying to get the snap count. Right. I think somebody mentioned no flags. Well, that's the easiest way with an offensive line who's just starting to play together and a quarterback who's in their first start to throw them off their game. Right. And so strategically, you got to find ways to create turnovers and put points on the board, create three and outs to quiet that crowd. Right. To take them out of the game and make it somewhat of a neutral ground, because as long as Georgia Tech keeps that advantage, right, of a crowd that is making it hard to play football on the offensive side of the ball, it could get pretty tough for a young quarterback. Any additional thoughts on that? So I got 3 so far. Juju the executioner, run the ball, stop the run, and take the crowd out of the game early. You got any others?
That's good right now. I mean, that's the basics. That's the basics. And on offense, we got to get 3rd and shorts, not 3rd and longs. I want to see 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. I'll go for 3rd and 4 every day, but I want reasonable 3rd down so we can move the sticks. No 3 and outs. And we can't be putting our defense in bad predicaments, because that's a key for losing right there. And so I want us to make sure we hold on to that football, and we make sure that we use great time management, and that these guys play, like you say, not error-free ball, because we know they're going to make mistakes, but we don't want a lot of flags. I don't want to be the most penalized team in the country like I think we were a few years back. So I want to make sure that we're on top of things. But those are great keys, and I think you hit it on the head.
Yeah, last but not least, before we get out here, Coach Dre, game 1 against Georgia Tech. Who is a guy by the end of the game, it's going to be necessary for him to have a great game to give Colorado a great chance to win that game? Give me one guy on the offensive side of the ball and another guy on the defensive side of the ball.
You got to talk about Boo Carter on defense. You got to talk about Boo Carter on defense. I got to come out here and play ball. I got to come out here and do my thing. Offense, for me, it's the running back room. It's just the room. I'm not going to say one guy because I don't know who the starter is. It's the running back room. So on defense, for me, it's Boo. For offense, it's the running back room as a whole.
All right, man. So I got one, man. I think Zach Atkins is going to have to become a household name as one of the top tight ends in the country after this game. I think he's going to play big in this game. I love what Brendan Marion has been doing with those tight ends. The name that I want to hear called a bunch of times in that pass game that's going to give the Georgia Tech defense a whole lot of problems is the tight end that can run a 4.5 and block. All right, so that's my guy to watch for this Georgia Tech game, Zach Atkins. On the defensive side of the ball is Leona Leafow. Okay, he has to be what he was brought over to Colorado to be in that linebacker room. Okay, I know the name right now that is top of mind for everybody is Gideon Lampron, and I know we've seen a lot of Tyler Martinez, but to stop this run, and I mean to be absolutely disruptive in playing on the opposite side of the ball, I'm watching Leona Leafow at that linebacker position. All right, Coach Dre, man, let's wrap this thing up. Let me know if you have any last thoughts. It's game week. It's game week.
Man, no last thoughts, man. It's game week. It's here. It's here. What everybody been waiting on to see what this young team can do. And this hungry football team to see what they can get done. Again, guys, we appreciate everybody coming in and rocking with us tonight. We appreciate everybody staying with us and keeping us entertained, man. That's what we come here for. As I started this show, I'll end this show the same way. When you go to sleep tonight, make sure you pray for my brother Rob and his family right now. They need it. They need it. They need your prayers. They need they need everyone to reach out and pray for him and his mom because he needs it. He needs it. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We come on here and we laugh and we giggle, but it's the real thing is that this is a family. Rob the Man Media has been here for 3 years. We started over there as a family with Colin, and Colin pushed Rob out to do his own thing. And Rob stepped out there, and when Rob stepped out there, I just came in to help. And my brother called me up one day and said, "Hey, bro, would you love to be on here with me full time?" And I told him, anything to help you, not asking for anything, not looking for anything, not knowing that this would be what it is. And so I want you guys to make sure you pray for my brother tonight and his family as they deal with what they're dealing with. And that's why he hasn't graced this screen this evening. Again, we have a big event going on in Atlanta next Thursday with the CU Aunties and Duke the Scoop and Travis Hunter's mom. Her book, Broken But Not Shattered. And that's just a key for everyone. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you've been through. But just don't be broken. You might be broken, but don't be shattered. And even if you get shattered, God can put those pieces back together. As I always tell you before we leave, if I send no ships out, those ships will come in. And if there's no contest, nobody can win. Games can't be won if they haven't been played, and prayers can't be answered if they haven't been prayed. This has been another Tuesday night with Rob the Man Media. I am the Don, Coach Dre. That is my man, Common Sense Bud. Rob, if you can hear me, I love you, brother. We're praying for you. Everything gonna be all right. We'll see you in the morning.